Good evening from the TerpTalk studios outside of Rockville and Bruce in the Baltimore studio. This is the Big Dog postgame show. The Terrapins 72, Colorado State 71, on to the Sweet 16. We finally got a buzzer beater. Mason, you said it probably wasn't going to be possible, but what'd you see out there?
I saw something I've been waiting for a long time. It took me back to 2010 where we lost the buzzer beater in this game. It took you right to the mid 2010s games with Melo where they always fell short in the second round. And it got you to today. And just given this week, given this moment for Maryland athletics as a whole, they really needed it. And Derek Queen, the hometown guy, puts it in, and the Terps finally get one on to San Fran. And here we come, Florida.
Let me tell you, all right, first of all, what a shout out for Baltimore from Dairy Queen. And they're already talking about it in Baltimore. I talked to my buddy Gary Atman, and he said the mayor already knows it when he said, because I'm from Baltimore. That was unbelievable. But, Willard told the story about he said who wanted the ball. That's almost comical, isn't it? But maybe he wanted to see that positivity. And one thing about Derek Queen, the way he plays, he doesn't seem to feel pressure. Am I right or wrong? He never seems to be, when he gets a call he doesn't like, but he's so loose. And that pressure, he didn't feel for a second, because you heard what Barkley said, or I don't know who it was, how tough that shot was. All right.
That was a
To go from
crazily
right to
impossible
left,
shot.
right to left and bank it off the board. Just go out and try and do it with nobody guarding you. All right. And he had that guy all over him. But I got to tell you something. They let this guy, Clifford, get away with murder. Okay. His elbow to the head. And I still haven't found out. Mason, can you review that after the fact? I know you can.
How far after the fact? They could find him tomorrow, but I don't think they can.
No, not that. Like at halftime or within 2 or 3 minutes. I don't know. But you would have thought, I almost texted Senate, all right, our SID, as if maybe they didn't know about it. But I said, that can't be. Somebody had to do it, I almost did it. So I was typing it. I said, wait a minute, I look like an idiot. They'll all be laughing at me. But I tell you, I couldn't believe it. That was a flagrant
talk
two.
about
That was
the
a
mugging.
flagrant two.
We can talk about the mugging later.
Right.
What I think the important part was, of course, they hit the three to take the lead. I've never seen so many resigned texts in one shot as when that ball went in the basket. Of course, that's what happened. The fact that the team didn't play particularly well, and you could see the attitude, they still thought they were going to win. There's something about this team that thinks they've got it. Mason talks about strategy and execution. Everybody understands what they're supposed to do. What's having a common strategy that seems like they have due to a team's effort?
I think they're just all aligned under one goal. And I think you heard Derek Queen say it when they really needed it. Selly or Selton Miguel and Juju and the guys, that this is it. They lose, they're not going to the league. They might get a shot. They might get to play in Europe, but this is it. This is why either they came here, or in Juju's case, they stayed here, is to be in games like this and moments like this. And when they needed it, Selton Miguel popped up and knocked down a couple of quick shots. Rodney Rice popped up and hit a couple shots. I think when you're down and you can look to the guy that's next to you and every one of them can score, you just play an inspired brand of basketball. And you saw the same thing from Colorado State. I mean, credit to them. Yeah, there were fouls that weren't called. Yeah, it was a tough game, but they come into this one red hot, 11 straight wins. They knock down shot after shot against a team that clearly, maybe better isn't the right word, but had superior talent, had legitimate big men, and they fought and they scrapped for it. But when you find that alignment under a common goal and the guy next to you has that same thing, what a team or a group can accomplish is really something special.
They always, and they have talked about this for weeks, the Crab 5 averages 69.1 points a game. Today, the Crab 5 gets 70 even. Geronimo gets 2. It's enough to win. Bruce, what did you see that actually sparked the team to come back? We kept texting and calling back and forth. Who was it going to be? You thought it was going to be Gillespie. He gets 11 points, but a crucial 7 assists to make this thing move forward.
Yeah, I think nobody played great except Queen again and Julian. Okay, nobody really played great, but everybody contributed when they had to. Okay, but when we were losing the lead and DHS tried that three and it was an air ball, I said to myself, maybe it's just not our night. I wasn't blaming him for anything, but then we took the lead. I think it was 54-50, and I ran into the kitchen to get a soda to come back, and in a minute they scored 8 points. We were down by 4. I mean, it was almost unbelievable. And uh, then we hit a 3, and then from that point on, it was back and forth. But I thought we had the game. Every time we took the lead, I thought we were going to win. Every time, and it meant nothing. They came back, and our defense wasn't its usual solid self. They used picks. They drove around, and that little guy, he was like a gnat that bothers you. But wow, did he play good? They were a good team. Yeah, I mean, Clifford, besides his cheap shots, is a darn good player. He made the pass to set up the 3, and it's just hard to believe they could let that guy wide open like that, but they did. But at the end of the day, this is a program-defining win. And even though we've been a program forever, we haven't had a win like this in a long time, Wayne. And Wace is right. I should have thought of it 14 years ago tonight. All right. I was lying on the floor 15 years ago when Gravis scored those 10 points in the final 2 minutes and we still lost on Corey Lucius's shot that was ridiculous because Draymond Green ducked and it came to him. And we lost that game, and it took 15 years for this to turn around. And Mason hit it on the nose. But this year, with the 4 buzzer beaters we lost, it just looked like another one. I called up Wayne and he'll verify it. I said, this can't happen again. It just can't. There's no justice if it happened again. And we can throw in yesterday's loss to Michigan, but that's not of the same scope. But
No, not at all.
no, it's a regular season game, big deal. But this was for the marbles. And let's face it, today, when you make the Sweet 16, it's like 20 years ago when you made the Final Four. It has a new meaning now. All right, because there's so many good basketball teams. But you know who else has got to be ecstatic? The commissioner of the Big Ten. I mean, this is insane. Besides winning football 2 years in a row, and now we have, what's the record? 8-8, 11-3. Does that sound right?
Yeah, we were 8-0, and now we're 11-3.
11-3, and you have 2 more games, and Oregon's putting it to Arizona right now. I don't know what Michigan State's doing, but wow, we could have 5 or 4 teams in the Sweet 16.
Michigan State has a slim 35-31 lead, 17 minutes to go there. Guys, I'll switch this back to Mason. After the outburst this week with Willard and the Evans, I felt there was a lot more pressure that you had to win this game after you open your mouth and make this all about a hotel room in New York. That's why we're not happy.
I hear that one more time. That's all I hear about the hotel room in New York.
Well, you didn't have to say it. None of that had to be said. But now that the mouth has been opened, the foot was headed right in that mouth as that game wound down. So I'm very happy for the university, everybody who follows this, that the game was won, because the entire fan base would have said, thank you very much. You can go wherever you wanted to go if you lost one more game at the buzzer. But that's how I feel. Mason, Bruce?
I didn't feel that way at all. I think he's had a great year. He's done a great job, and I think he did a great job today. Look, one thing about the guy, he never gets flustered, Willard. He never gets terribly upset. And
No,
sometimes
he didn't even yell at the refs while the mugging was going on.
Sometimes it bothers me that he doesn't get on the refs. But all I can say is, here we are. And if you don't think we have a darn good shot of beating Florida, you didn't watch that game today, okay? Because Florida, they look very suspect. They're a great team, don't get me wrong. But if I thought that we were playing somebody who we lose to by 50, I wouldn't go. But I think we have a darn good shot to win that game. I mean, a really good shot. You win a game like this, you don't know where it takes you. You really don't. And
No,
this
and
was,
Maryland, you brought it up. Maryland has a really good record. After a game like this, they usually are lights out the next time out.
they didn't play well tonight. They didn't shoot well. I don't have I was looking for the scorebook afterwards. I don't have it. But I guarantee you they didn't shoot what, probably 40% or 42%.
I
And
have
I
that
believe it was 29 of 62.
26 of 62, 41% from the
there you go.
floor, 41% from three, 10 of 24, and they're 10 of 12 from the line.
But I
The
tell you
opponents,
something. Wait, we got to give credit to somebody who none of us have said yet. Julian Reese gets to the foul line, all right, with 2 foul shots and 20 seconds left and nails them both, all right? If he doesn't nail them both and everything happens afterwards, we're in overtime. But he nailed both his shots, no questions asked. It was a great night for him as well.
15 points, 11 boards, 37 minutes. They
How
really
about
put out
what did Derek wind up with?
34 minutes has 17 points, 6 boards, an assist, and 2 blocks. Rice has 16 points, Gillespie 11, Miguel 11, and Geronimo brings the 2 points off the bench, totals 72 points.
Mason and myself have talked about Rice all season when we sit there at the arena and watch the game. And 1 for 8 today at halftime disappointed me. Okay. I didn't think that would happen from him. And he came back. It just seems like we're a second half team. If we can stick around, all right, if we can stick around somehow or another, we find a way. I have to tell you something. They got all the points but 2 tonight, right? Only 2 points from Geronimo.
Right.
Uh, and it just didn't seem like they were tired. The other team played 11 guys and they all contributed. But
They
it
did.
just didn't seem like we were tired. There was no weakness there. I
No,
mean, I thought that
but
Jacoby short armed a few shots. Okay. And if Robbie Hummel said one more time, we got to go into Reese, what are you supposed to do? Go into him every play? You know?
at some point,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
But look at the shots that they missed. Jacoby Gillespie, first Rodney Rice short armed the layup he should have had. And then Jacoby Gillespie did the same thing.
They
That
did.
game should have
But
been
the
over.
difference, sure, and that should have been. And you didn't need to rush the shot, and you had control of the game. And Bruce, you and I were going back and forth. I said they're shooting too fast. They can control this game. And at the end, they sort of lost control of the game. They had a 4-point lead, and they ended up, what they give up 7 straight points to end up behind there. Mason, what do you think? Is there any additional pressure because of what was said earlier this week?
I don't think on the guys. I think the moment holds it when you've been working like you have to now to get to that level of basketball, which is from 10, 11 years old on for most of these kids, beyond the anomaly ones that pop up in high school and make it onto a team like Maryland. Um, I don't really think that the moment, anything else that was going on in the background really matters. They're there to play basketball. They want to win basketball games, and these are the games you dream of. Those are the shots you shoot in the driveway when you're playing against dad and your friends. Those are the games that you play. Those are the moments you play for.
They are.
Jacoby Gillespie, all right, and Selt McGuell were the same players last year that they are this year. They might have gotten a little bit better, but they led the team in scoring. They were all conference. I think Jacoby was the MVP in his conference, but they never had a chance for the national spotlight. And it reminds me of 22 when our 2 guys, the one from Cornell and Keegan Khan and John Donville. You remember at the last game, they like put their arms around each other. It means something to these guys who
Mhm.
never have that chance,
Yep.
and it really meant something to Juju Reese because he might have been playing for his career. If he winds up getting drafted, it's because of how he's played in these last 4 or 5 games. And this is where the spotlight is. The whole country was watching. There's no question about it. And This is what it's all about. This is what makes March Madness. And, we were all pretty. When was the Michigan game? We were all three of us were ready to jump out the window when we lost that game.
Yeah.
All right.
A week ago yesterday.
It was,
It's a
it was
lot
like a month ago.
smaller national story because Maryland wins the game. If Maryland loses the game, it's the biggest upset, and everything that was said gets rehashed. We get to
It
move
wouldn't have
on.
been that big of an upset. It would have been an upset, but
Yeah, but it would have been the biggest
But I
upset.
mean, look at this year, right? That's why it took over so much. Is there isn't Cinderella this year? Maryland
Yeah.
just whacked the last one. Your lowest seed team's going to be like, can Arkansas with Calipari coaching them turn into Cinderella? Probably not. From the best
Right.
league in college basketball, it's just that was the team. That's why you almost felt like there was pressure from Robbie Hummel, who loves Maryland, from Andy Katz, who loves Maryland,
that was
and
obvious.
Jalen
It was
Rose
obvious.
to push that that this team, they need those teams, right? That's what makes this tournament special. And look, I don't care. We just beat the last one, but it is different this year. This tournament's been looking like for the shot that Derek Queen put down, or for the shot that I think it was Lake for Colorado State put down before that. It's in desperation mode as far as like viewership interest, because it doesn't have that team.
No, and there is no great team. And with that, I got to ask Bruce, because I've been going back and forth on this one. Did you book that flight to San Francisco?
The flight is booked. Okay, I'm on my way, and
Same here.
Hotel is booked, and let's just hope we win that first game at least, because that would be great. Because you're kind of stuck out there. All right.
Well,
But
we're going for the weekend. Going to see
Yeah.
3 games, one way or the other. Hopefully,
for
Maryland's
sure.
in 2 of the 3 games.
I was lucky to get a real early flight on Thursday, so I don't have to go Wednesday night. Okay.
Right. You're taking the 6 a.m. United flight out of Baltimore?
We're on the same flight.
I'm not. I'll already be
Oh.
there. But you and Connie get to fly out there together.
6:15 a.m. and coming back Monday on their 9 o'clock. I'll be Sunday on their 9 o'clock flight.
Hey, so are
But-
we.
But
We can do the
what's mo-
post-game show on the plane. And with that, we got to wrap this up and move along. Last words, Mason?
If you two get kicked off that plane, it would be the greatest story ever on this YouTube channel.
no, that won't happen. But I'm really looking forward to it. That's all I can say. It's big
And
time.
with that,
I'll let you go.
hey, thank goodness the ball went in the basket. At that point, it's the greatest play I'd ever seen. Good evening from the TerpTalk studios in Rockville, Baltimore. We will see you later in the week. And of course, now there'll be an on-premise pregame show live from San Francisco before the game on Thursday. Good evening, Maryland 72, Colorado State 71.